Hello and welcome to Odds on Europa League Match Day 2. We are going to analyze the best games on Thursday in this competition. In the first match day, the favorites won. We saw Roma, we saw Aston Villa, for instance, winning their game. So we have back Ronan Murphy, Alain Valnegri. Hello, guys.
Hello.
To give us a lot of insights about these teams, we have some good games as usual. I think most of your tips actually were correct in match day 1. So now we are going to try our best in this video. So don't forget, of course, tell us your tips and your predictions for this new match day. And of course, press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And the first game we are going to analyze is perhaps the best one we can see on Thursday. I'm talking about Roma Lille. Roma are in good form with Gasperini, even if we are not seeing a lot of offensive football, but they are winning all wins in Serie A except the defeat against Torino, and also in the Europa League, we tipped them to beat Nice, and they did it. 2-1 is the only game, by the way, with both teams to score in Roma's season. On the other side, we had Lille suffering against Brann, a lesser team, and they lost 1-0 at the weekend, following also the defeat against Lens in the derby. Alain, to this game, Roma arrived much better than Lille.
Yes, Roma arrived much better than Lille. We saw a very good Roma. Roma can integrate quickly the defensive concept of Gasperini, and we saw a physical team, a really disciplined team, concede not a lot, and when they concede, they have a wonderful, amazing goalkeeper. Svilar already now in Serie A is the best goalkeeper so far. Everything are good in Roma. Without the ball, with the ball, the team needs creativity, but when you are not so able to create a lot and you win the game, that one is the first good thing. To be manager in Roma is very difficult. You have a lot of pressure, and Gasperini entered really good and really well in the world of Roma. Now Lille is a little difficult to understand the true identity of Lille, because Lille outside, when they played away, they're better, and when they're played at home, in the last weeks, we saw a bad version of Lille, and maybe there can be play with more free without pressure, and the team feel more comfortable. In spite of that, in my opinion, Rome is really favorite. I choose Roma winning with under 3.75 goals, odds 2.25.
Well, in all the games in Serie A, we are seeing under for Roma games, actually under 2 goals, except the last one that we saw 2 goals exactly, Ronan, and we are seeing more about 𝐻𝗵𝗵𝗀 and less about Ferguson.
Yeah, I think it's only slightly more about 𝐻𝗵𝗵𝗀. I don't think there's really a golden boot race between the two of them. I think if you scored twice in the Europa League this week, you might end up being Roma's top goal scorer for the season. So yeah, they're, like Alain said, they are struggling to score goals. They look much better without the ball. They're great at keeping clean sheets. Like Alain said, they have a top goalkeeper at the moment. So yeah, it's creating chances, turning those chances into goals, and that's what they really need to do, because they are actually winning matches. They've won 5 of their last 6 matches, and 4 of those wins were actually wins to nil. The only one wasn't. Obviously, it was the Nice match that we had in the Europa League in match day 1. So they are winning matches. They're just not scoring a lot of goals to win those matches. So Lille, they are struggling to score goals themselves a bit at the moment. They've lost both of their last 2 games to nil. They lost to Lyon, like you said, and then they lost to Lyon. I think the only positive maybe is the fact that they're not playing a team whose name begins with L in this one, because when they play against teams whose name begins with L, they don't seem to score, they seem to lose. But yeah, I like Roma in this match. I think people in their comments do, and 𝐿 and 𝐿𝐴 have also gone for Roma to win and Lille not to score. So yeah, I like a Roma clean sheet at 2.38. Roma to win to 0 is a bit better than that at 275. But then, like I said, Roma are the kings of both teams to score no at the moment, so that's a little safer. Both teams to score no is 196.
Well, Roma to win 1-0, 2-0, or 3-0. For Omoyoma Penchev, Roma wins 2-0 in this game, really favorites. Roma, we stay in Italy. Bologna, Freiburg is the next one. Bologna lost to Aston Villa 1-0, and they couldn't beat Lecce at the weekend. One of the worst teams, if not the worst, in Serie A. Freiburg is kind of the opposite. They are in good form after a tough start of the season. They drew at the weekend, it's true, but they beat Basel in match day 1. Still the bookies place Bologna as favorites. Do you think this could be much more contended, Ronan?
Yeah, I think so. Freiburg seem to be in a bit of form at the moment. I know it's not massive because, like you said, they only had a draw at the weekend, but they did beat Basel before that, and in what was kind of like a local derby, as we had said on the show. And yeah, Freiburg are unbeaten in 4 matches. The only thing is they have conceded in every game this season, apart from Lotte in the Cup and Bremen there a couple of weeks ago. But it's Bremen. We see how bad they are at the moment. So, yeah, there is a chance that Bologna could get on the score sheet here. Both teams had score draws at the weekend. Bologna against Lecce, like you said, and Freiburg against Hoffenheim, who again aren't world beaters in the Bundesliga this season. We're still kind of waiting for them to show what they're made of. With like Freiburg, both teams have nearly identical records in the respective leagues. 7 points with 2 wins and 2 defeats each and a draw. So, yeah, Freiburg are 8 in the Bundesliga. Bologna are 9th in Serie A. Freiburg have the exact same kind of goal record, 9-4 and 9 against, and Bologna the same, 5-4 and 5 against. So that all screams to me that this match is going to be a draw, which is 350, well, or 356 even, so even better. And if you think that both teams can score, which is a possibility, correct score 1-1, 675. I'd like to look at that one. Both teams to score, yes, is also 183. If you think there could be a winner in this one, both teams will score. But I think Freiburg can do something in this match, like you said. So I like to look for a Freiburg double chance at 178.
I agree completely with you, Ronan. Omoyoma also, Freiburg win, draw is also possible. Do you agree as well, Alain?
I wait more than Bologna. Bologna away is a team, and Bologna at home is another team. Their win against Como. Como is a very good team. I think it should be the surprise in Serie A this season. They won after 2-1 against Genoa. When they play at Dallara, Bologna is dangerous. When they played away, the schedule was difficult because you play in Olimpico, you play in San Siro against Roma, Milan, you play in Lecce. It was difficult because Lecce need urgently some point. You play in Villa Park, you lose 1-0. I wait more than this Bologna. Is the moment to start the season with an important win. Freiburg is an uncomfortable rival, but in my opinion, Bologna, especially in the individual analysis, have more talent than Freiburg. And Freiburg away in Bologna, I don't trust in the German team. I trust most in Italiano. I hope Italiano will be choose 11 start with his best player, because it is always the same question with Italiano, with which team he will be present in a game, and he do every game changement. In Florence, I think he do 72 games. He present 72 11 start different, and that one is difficult. Maybe now it's a little more moderate. In Bologna, I wait the best version of this Bologna, and I choose Bologna winning odds 2.06.
Then you don't agree. We have a disagreement here, and this is good. From Bologna, we go to Istanbul, Fenerbahce, Nice. These teams have one thing in common this season: Benfica. They were both knocked out by Benfica from the Champions League playoff. So the season started pretty bad for both of them. As we know, Fenerbahce sacked Mourinho. They hired Domenico Tedesco. I think here we are not big fans of Tedesco, and now they are 6 points away from Galatasaray's and good players Talisca, El-Nesiri, Marco Asensio, even though they lost to Dinamo Zagreb 3-1 in the first match day in the Europa League. Nice are struggling as well, Alain, winless in the last 3 games, and their season started with problems and keep going with problems.
Yeah, they lose 6 game, about 8 official game this season. Is the beginning of the season is really hard. He represents the ambition of Ineos. Ineos have the mind in Manchester and wanna build something important with Manchester United, and that one is the answer about the missing ambition in Nice. Now Fenerbahce, yes, Tedesco is a strange choice. I want the same agent like Tedesco. Maybe I can start to be manager of a Europa League team or a national team. He deserves nothing to have that type of bench. Fenerbahce is a really important team. Maybe people don't know the football in Turkey, but Fenerbahce is a big team with a social fans amazing. And now, yes, when he arrived, the team start to play. Is the squad is huge. I think that the squad is to have ambition to arrive to the quarter of final of this Europa League. Now that must to correct the average of point away, like Galatasaray. They have exactly the same problem. Turkish team, when they played away, is not the best version, but when they played at home, we will be see the best version. The team arrive and understand the concept of the game of Tedesco. He want to play with Asensio in the double pivot, and that one is a big ambition, and he give a good results. For that reason, I choose Fenerbahce winning with both team to score odds 2.60.
Also, Penchev is going for goals in this game. You know Tedesco well, Ronan, in his spell in the Bundesliga, Schalke, Leipzig. You are not a big fan of him, I believe.
He was okay at Schalke, but like Alain has said, he hasn't really done anything to deserve these better jobs that he keeps getting after Schalke. It doesn't really make sense because he was a disaster at Leipzig. So, yeah, I think the only positive about Tedesco being in the Europa League is that we have a manager called Vincenzo Italiano and Domenico Tedesco. So the Italian for Italian, or the English for Italian, and the Italian for German. Tedesco is a German in Italian. Yeah. So that's the only positive there. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but he has a great team, and Fenerbahce have a great attack, and they have plenty of exciting attackers like Asensio. Alain said already, he's not even an attacker, but they have Nene, they have 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴, they have 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬 even coming off the bench. Szymanski scored in the first game, so. And Nesri, they have plenty of players who were capable of scoring goals. So this match looks like one that we will see a lot of goals in. Fenerbahce obviously should be favourites because they are excellent at home. Their last home defeat in a competitive game was in May against Besiktas, so they haven't lost at home this season. Since that Besiktas game, they've played 8 games at home, competitive ones, and won 6 of those. So they should keep winning. Nice on the road, they are terrible at the moment this season. They've lost every away game this season that they've played, include against Le Havre and Brest in Ligue 1, so they aren't world-beating teams that they've even lost to on the road. So Fener should have definitely more than enough to win this one. I like the 176 for them to win. That looks pretty good. But I'm going with what everybody else is saying. I think there's going to be goals in this match, so I'm going for a slightly different bet, which is Fenerbahce themselves to score over 1.5 goals, which is 1.8.
We go now to Switzerland, Basel, Stuttgart. Here the favorites are Stuttgart with odds around 2. They are in really good form, 3 consecutive wins, and last week was a good one for them, beating Celta and beating Cologne. And even if they are a newly promoted team to the Bundesliga, it's not easy to win there. The opposite for Basel, Ronan, 3 winless games. We saw them losing to Freiburg, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, that was the bit of the local derby because it's the nearest game Freiburg will play this season. I think it's the closest to their home ground. Is actually the match in Switzerland. So yeah, it was an interesting one. And Stuttgart, they're used to playing Swiss teams, and if you remember, they played their last game against Swiss side was last season in the Champions League. They played young boys in the league phase. They won 5-1 in that one. So Stuttgart do like playing Swiss teams. I know it's away this time and it was home last time, but Stuttgart are scoring a lot of goals. They've had 3 wins in a row. They've scored twice in each of those. They scored twice against Celta. They have different players scoring this season, which I kind of like. They're not kind of reliant on one player to score lots of goals, and I think that's what you need from Stuttgart, because sometimes they can be too reliant on a specific striker. And we mentioned it in the last show that they were kind of too reliant on 𝗲𝗲𝗏 at times, and 𝗲𝗏 never kind of really stepped up. And Basel, they are a team who are capable of scoring. They scored in that defeat to Freiburg. They're both teams to score in each of their last 4 games. So both teams to score, yes, could be a good option here. 155. If you're to double down on that, Stuttgart to win and both teams to score is 330. So I like to look at that one, but I can't really look past the odds of Stuttgart just winning in this one because they're just around 2. So it's pretty good, I think, for this one, Stuttgart to win at 197.
Freiburg and Basel are only 1 hour away. By car to Stuttgart, you have to go 3 hours, Alain. To Stuttgart. Not that far as well.
No, it's not like a derby. It's not like a derby, but German team against Swiss German team is always special, especially for the Swiss German team. This time they're playing in Basel. Basel losing Freiburg, lose against Lucerne at home was a surprise. And I think that the relationship between the vestiary with Magnan, the new manager of Basel, is not good, because Shaqiri speak in public and critic the manager. Magnan known Stuttgart because he played in Bundesliga a few years, and maybe can be a small advantage. Right now, Stuttgart are really well after a difficult, delicate beginning of the season. Victory against Celta, good victory in Köln. It's always difficult to win in Köln, very hostile stadium, and in my opinion, Stuttgart is favorite for that game, but I choose 𝗵𝗵𝗏 goal or assist because he unlocked himself in Europe and he will be unlocked himself in Basel odds 2.25.
Well, 𝐬𝐵𝐵𝗏 and 𝗵𝗏𝗏 see Stuttgart to win over, both teams to score. This is what most of our audience think. Now we go to Bulgaria. Ludogorets, Betis. Betis still winless away from home, suffering in La Liga when they are traveling, and in the Europa League also they suffered a lot against Nottingham Forest. They were lucky to grab the draw with Anthony scoring, but at the weekend they beat Osasuna. 𝐋𝐞𝐿 Hernández is scoring plenty of goals, and they are super favorites to beat Ludogorets, although it's a big result, the one from the Bulgarian team. Alain, they beat Malmo in Matchday 1.
Yes, but Betis is really favorite. Sorry for David, our friends from Oddspedia, but yes, Ludogorets, the big advantage. Ludogorets want to play. Ludogorets is sincerely Ludogorets. We known the team like few season in Europe. Very good results in Malmo. Play a direct play against a associative play. Is opposition of style between both teams. I trust a lot in Betis. Betis must have the ambition to accede to the semi-final, because the squad that have a lot of quality, and since the beginning of the season we saw 𝐶∞ Hernández score, and he was probably the position more weak in Betis was the center striker, and 𝐶∞ Hernández are doing very well. I wait a goal with a lot of goal. I choose the market of goal over 2.75 goals, odds 2.10.
Scoring from outside the box, actually. 𝐶∞ Hernández, we have a couple of Bulgarian people here. 𝗵𝗏𝗏 as a Bulgarian, I would like to see an away win, but I think Betis win. Well, Betis are playing away, indeed. Ronan?
Yeah, I think he mustn't obviously be a Ludogorets fan if he's looking for an away win in this one as a Bulgarian. So yeah, must be supporting one of the other teams. But yeah, these are two teams that are actually struggling to lose at the moment. Ludogorets are unbeaten in 6 because they had that great result in Malmo, like Alain said, and Betis are unbeaten in 4. A lot of draws in there for both sides, so maybe a draw could be an option, like 𝐿 is saying in the comments. But I'm kind of looking at someone else to score the goal for instead of 𝐭𝐞𝐿, like he did in the first match. Anthony, he's only scored once this season, but was in that match against Nottingham Forest, obviously. But if you look back to last season and his Betis career so far, he is a man who seems to enjoy the big stage. He didn't enjoy the pressure of the big stage in Manchester, but he enjoys being the kind of hero in Betis, and I think he can be the hero repeatedly for them. He has 16 goal contributions in 30 games. That's 10 goals and 6 assists. So he could score another one here. I like to look at that as Anthony as an anytime goal scorer of 287.
Is this a big stage, actually, playing?
If you're Anthony, I think everything is a big stage. I think it depends on your mindset. And for him, scoring in Europe, big stage.
Well, Betis are used to doing really bad games away in Europe, especially. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ludogorets getting something from this game. The other Spanish team playing at home, Celta against PAOK. Really bad season for Celta. Winless. They lost to Elche. They lost to Stuttgart last week. The only positives is Borja Iglesias scoring. And PAOK drew with Maccabi Tel Aviv. They are 3rd in the Greek league. But wow, this Celta with these odds, I wouldn't touch them at this moment, Ronan.
Yeah, I'm not kind of touching them either, because if you look at their form, they haven't won in 7 matches. We had 5 1-all draws in a row, which we mentioned on the last show before they lost 2-1 to Stuttgart, and then they've lost 2-1 again since. So yeah, 5 1-alls and then 2-1 defeats. So yeah, they seem to be both teams to score in every match, but they don't seem to be winning those both teams score matches. PAOK, on the other hand, they've drawn 3 games in a row, 2 0-0s, and then they had a 3-all win at the weekend. So hopefully they can get some goals back in their system and they can remember how to score and remember how to win games. But yeah, a draw at 4-10 looks pretty good for this match. This match is not going to be one. Well, I don't think it's going to be one that has a lot of goals in it. Over 2.5 goals has only happened 25% of the time for Celta and 36% of the time for the Greeks. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be a high scoring first half. Over 1.5 goals at halftime has only happened in 13% of Celta's matches. So I do like to look up under 0.7 first half goals at 255. And then to go for the draw, maybe a somewhat safer draw, a first half draw is 232.
Well, 𝗀𝐿𝐴 is the manager of PAOK. Alain, but not Mircea 𝗀𝐿𝐴, but Razvan 𝗀𝐿𝐴. Different.
Yes, no, Razvan is a long. He stayed like a few season in the bench. Now PAOK start really well the season. In the last 4 games, when they lose against 𝗵𝗲𝗂 4-1, PAOK disappeared, and 3 draw in matches where PAOK must to dominate. Now the game in Vigo, the game next weekend against Olympiacos in the field of the Olympiacos. Yes, PAOK start really well the season, but after the game in 𝗵𝗲𝗂, we don't know what happened in that vestry. The team are really weak, and there must to have a reaction. Celta too. But Celta in the content, Celta stay in the game every time. And because they draw a lot of games since the beginning of the season, they lose the last 2 games, but 2-1 2 times. And until the end of the game, they stay in the game. It's a young team. Maybe the squad are not the deepness necessary to play both competition. But for this game, I think Celta have something more right now, and for that reason, I think PAOK can be scored too in Vigo, and I choose both teams to score odds 1.91.
It's kind of a safe bet with Celta all the games but one in La Liga, so Celta both teams to score, and also in Europe against Stuttgart was both teams to score. Now we have Feyenoord Aston Villa. This is a great game. Actually, Feyenoord lost in Braga and Aston Villa won against Bologna. Last week we were mentioning how they are struggling in this start of the season, but it was a very good week for Emery. Beat Bologna, beat Fulham, both games at home, and now is another challenge in the quid. We saw Feyenoord last season, Alain, in the Champions League being very strong. At home, they only lost to Inter, but they beat Milan, Bayern Munich, or Fenerbahce, for instance, in the preview this summer.
No, very good at the 𝐿𝐴 always. The team is different, like last season is more associative team, attacking positional with Van Persie. Good reaction in Groningen. They won in Groningen last weekend. Feyenoord. Now against Aston Villa, in my opinion, Aston Villa have something more with the experience. So Aston Villa is the first time this season they have two victory in streak in a row, and that one is very good. Maybe 𝐿𝐵𝐵 decided to leave Villa Park. Maybe it was one of the problem, and something locked the team, because the beginning of the season was not into the standard we must wait about Aston Villa. Right now, there have a reaction. We saw Emery now in the no verbal communication. He was really. He enjoyed the goals. He enjoyed the victory, and like a rebel, no? And maybe we have a lot of message about that, about the things of Aston Villa. The best version of Aston Villa is, but for this game, I choose both teams to score with over 2.5 goals, odds 2.10.
Also, David, also Penchev, our Bulgarian friends are going for both teams to score here, Ronan.
Yeah, I am not, and so our commenter Levi there is wondering how much profit I make a year. So I'm wondering, has my accountant or my tax man got a second account? Is that what they're trying to figure out? So no comment is the answer to that one. for this one,
the revenue is a revenue guy.
Exactly. Yeah, no comment. Yeah, so Feyenoord are unbeaten in the Eredivisie, or in the Netherlands this season, but they've lost their last two European games, including 5-2 against Fenerbahce. So yeah, they're not really stepping up at the moment in Europe, but they're doing a great job in their own domestic league, including that 1-0 win at the weekend that Alain mentioned. But the last two games have been both 1-0s, so 1-0 defeat and a 1-0 win. So at the moment, they're not scoring or conceding a lot of goals. Aston Villa, as we mentioned before, they had been struggling to score. I know they scored 3 at the weekend against Fulham, but they're unbeaten in 5 matches, as long as you don't count penalties in the League Cup as a defeat. They're unbeaten in 90 minutes, I suppose, in their last 5 games, and their 3-1 win against Fulham on Sunday was the first time all season that they've scored more than 1 goal in the match. So yeah, in the Premier League. So they have not been scoring a lot of goals in the Premier League. So I like a look of a correct score 0-1 in this one. So Aston Villa to win 1-0 is 9. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring match. And I'm going for the exact opposite as Alain, as my other bet, which is total goals under 2.5, which is 191. So someone's got to be right.
And the last game is Lyon Salzburg. This looks like kind of a safe bet if you are backing Lyon to win, because Salzburg, we mentioned it in last week actually, that they are really poor this season, and it's good to bet against them. It's true that they almost get a draw against Porto, but they ended up losing, so we were okay with that. And Lyon is the opposite. They are having a great start of the season, 3 consecutive wins now, 1-0 with Fonseca beating Lille and keeping the pace of PSG. Ronan?
Yeah, it's 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 is the last three matches. So they do not expect, this one is another one, do not expect some entertainment, because like Alain said on the last show, that Salzburg, they don't have the same kind of difference makers, the same sort of star players that we've seen in the past that are capable of standing up on the big stage. Hopefully this is the big stage for Salzburg. unlike Betis. But yeah, they don't have those sort of difference makers anymore. Lyon have a few of their own, so they should be able to kind of win this one and hopefully win it comfortably. Salzburg are struggling to score at the moment. They haven't scored in 2 of their last 3 matches. Lyon clean sheet, I like to look of as a good option, 2.38. You could tie that into Lyon to win to 0 if you're confident enough in Lyon winning and Salzburg not. But I'm just going to go for Lyon to win by a goal or more. So Lyon Asian handicap -1 is 188.
Lyon to win 2-0 for 𝐬𝐵. You mentioned in our video in Ligue 1, Alain, that you didn't expect a Fonseca team to be this pragmatic, to be only 1-0, but you usually expect more goals.
Yes, now I want to see in Europe, especially a Fonseca team, a team with more offensive powder. But with the economical problem, play without a striker, because there are only Satriano, but he's a second striker. He's not a center striker, no? And they sold 𝐿𝐴 the last days to Villarreal, and they don't replace him, and they play without a true number 9, no? And that one have an effect. But the team is strong, is really solid. Against Salzburg, I think is better in every line respect to Salzburg. Salzburg lose against Wolfsberg, last cleans. The team from Wien, that one is new in Austria for Salzburg. But yes, Lyon is really favorite for this game. In my opinion, Lyon will be unlock Alice itself at home in the goal average score, and for that reason I choose over 3.25 goals, odds 2.27. Salzburg is able to score 2 in Lyon in my opinion, but I prefer over 3.25 goals.
I think we have a Milan fan here reminding us that Fonseca won last season at the Bernabeu with Rossoneri before being sacked. Hello, Musa from Germany. And well, this is it. These are the best 8 games we've chosen to analyze in this Europa League match day 2. Remember, Aston Villa, Porto, Roma, the favorites to win this competition. Well, guys, I want to remind you that we have our tipster competitions going on thanks to Oddspedia, absolutely free to participate. You just need to register on our website and again post your tips. You have another chance now in October, and you can take a look at Rivals, our unique tipster competition feature where you can create your own competitions and challenge your friends. There you go, guys. Safe bet, Ronan.
My safe bet is Porto to win at 138.
Alain?
Same, Porto to win, 138. We don't speak before, huh?
And ACCA, Alain?
Fenerbahce to win, Lyon Salzburg over 1.75 goals in the second half, total 3.79.
There you go. Ronan, your ACCA?
My ACCA has a match we didn't cover, Celtic to win and Stuttgart to win for 3.98.
Trusting Celtic. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you very soon. Bye-bye.